If you were struggling to trust yourself and you really want to change that, you were in the right place. So come on in, sit down, make yourself comfortable. I have 4 things that I want to talk about here that are really preventing you from connecting in with your intuition and trusting yourself that little bit more. Now, you may be experiencing all of these. It may just be 1 or 2 of them that are more prominent on your path. But we'll look at them in a little bit more detail. I would love to hear in the comments what it is that you are experiencing. And I also have some brilliant guidance for you as well that will enable you to start and tune in with yourself a little bit more deeply. Hi, I'm Gemma Lonsdale, life coach and psychic medium, and not only have I had my own personal journey with intuition, but every single client that I have worked with in a coaching capacity has had some struggle with one of these things that we're going to talk about. So rest assured that you're in good hands, but you're also not alone. Now, the first thing on the list is becoming out of tune with our intuition, or out of touch with our intuition. Now, if you can think of a newborn baby, it comes into the world and it roots for a nipple because it knows that that is where it's going to get fed. So it's a very intuitive thing. It doesn't really make sense that this newborn creature, this little baby that has never been on this world, would know to do that. So intuition is something that you were born with. As we then start to progress through life, we become a bit more detached from that for various different reasons. One of them could be that we are in a situation that actually places a lot of emphasis on logic, and this impacts most of us, to be fair. We place a lot of importance on logic, the science, the numbers needing to add up. We need to know, well, how do we get from A to B? Everything needs to make sense. But actually, intuition doesn't make sense. So it's about being able to come back to that part of us. Another thing that can really help us, well, I suppose it's not a help, it can take us away from our intuition. And that is becoming more immersed in the material world. So if you are in sort of a career or in a job in life where you are sort of going after the nice house, the fancy car, the big paychecks, whenever we start to focus too much on those things, or we're maybe spending too much time in that world, it can really take us away from our intuition, and we just need to basically reconnect with that part of ourselves. You know, it will always keep us on the right track. Number 2 on the list is fear of failure. And I would really encourage you to understand your own reasons of why you fear failure, because it would be a very good learning exercise to just start to explore that side of yourself a little more. But some of the more common ones can be of worried about what people might think. You know, if you make this change, and are you going to be the laughing stock? None of us want to experience that sort of thing. You may lack the confidence in yourself in order to take that leap. And I want to tell you that actually any dream or idea that you have in your head is completely achievable. So don't be worried that it's not, or that it's unrealistic. But whenever we start to doubt ourselves, or we're worried about what other people might say, even whenever we may be worried about money. You know, if I make this change, how am I going to sustain myself? What if I jump and I don't make the money? What if the house is repossessed? Where will we live? We have to take the kids out of school. We'll not be able to go on the holiday. You know, there's all of these different things that might go through our heads, and it's not even always about maintaining the lifestyle. Sometimes it's even just about having our basic needs met. So fear of failure is a really valid one, but there are so many different reasons that actually might impact why you're feeling that. It's really important to be aware as well that actually you will learn more in the times that you fail versus the times that you experience success. So whenever we fail, we have tried, we have sharpened our skill set, we have learned something new, and we can take that experience and actually create more success with it. Next on the list is fear of change. Now, it doesn't matter how loud our intuition is actually screaming at us. Sometimes the fear of change can hold us back and can actually keep us in situations that are not very good for us. That doesn't always mean that you're in a bad situation or in a negative one, but you might be in a situation where you have grown as much as what you can grow. It may be that you're just not able to flourish the same, or you're being taken for granted, or there are far many more worse, case scenarios than that. But whenever we think of fear, it does have us staying within what we know, even whenever what we know isn't good. My grandmother used to always use the term with me, the grass isn't always greener, and also better the devil you know. And I used to always think to myself, but sometimes the grass is greener. We just have to take a chance because fortune favours the brave. So whenever you start thinking to yourself, the grass isn't always greener or better the devil you know, remind yourself that fortune favours the brave. And sometimes we do have to take that chance. It can be scary because we never really know for sure what another situation is going to bring us. So whenever we are able to tap into our intuition and connect with that more deeply, it makes decision making so much easier on that front. It's really important as well to remember that energetically, whenever we reject or we walk away from something that isn't serving us, it opens up the universe to help us connect in with something that is going to serve us more deeply and is going to meet our needs more. Last but not least, we have external influences. Now, you could be surrounded by the most loving family, friends, partner, and actually somebody coming from a place of love, but also from a place of their own fears and own self-doubt, will say to you, don't be ridiculous. It's not going to happen. You're crazy. It'll never work. Things like that can be so quick to come off another person's lips. But actually, if you're being called to something different, or you're feeling your heart pulling you towards something different, it's really important to listen to it. As I always say, God, the universe, source, whatever it is that you believe in, God has put that vision in your head for a reason, not in theirs, okay? So it's really important that we actually pay attention to those things. Also, we've got societal standards. We go through life and there are usually a way of doing things. We have a typical expectation that we'll have a 9-to-5 job, we'll get married, we'll have kids, we'll get a nice house, and all of these different things. Whenever we start to step outside of well, we don't do it like that around here. Well, we've never done it like that. Well, that's a bit different. That's not going to work. When we step away from the normal, that can cause external influences to really start to have an impact on us trusting ourselves and trusting our intuition by causing that doubt. That's why it's often important to not listen to other people. Whenever we're trying to decide something for ourselves, actually shut the doors and all of that noise and just listen to yourself. You are powerful beyond measure. There is absolutely no limit on what you can achieve. And actually, the only limitations that we tend to experience in life are the limitations that are in our own mind. And it may not be that you have deliberately put that there. We don't deliberately think, well, I'm going to get myself all, full of fear of failure or whatever. But there are things that we accrue as life goes on. We take on other people's perceptions. We take on the societal perceptions. We maybe have had a past experience that we draw upon, or we have seen someone else do it. There are so many different things that can influence us. But actually, whenever we start to really analyse ourselves and open up the space for self-exploration and self-development, we can remove all of those limitations. We can pick them apart, we can understand them, we can reprogram them, and we can actually push them to one side. But if you're looking to be able to start to trust yourself immediately, the one thing that I would really suggest to you is that you create space to actually listen to that feeling coming up in your body. Whenever we become so focused on the other aspects of life, or we haven't maybe been trusting our intuition a lot, we start to get confused by actually what it's trying to tell us, or even what intuition feels like. So the solution that I have for you is to take the time to actually connect with yourself on a more deep level. We get to the stage where we don't even know what intuition feels like. But because intuition is so subtle, we need to be in tune with our body. We need to be in tune with what everything feels like in there. And we need to be able to create a space of calmness as well, because sometimes whenever we feel fear or anxiety or nerves, we can mistake those for intuition, but often they are a little bit louder. Intuition is a little bit more subtle, a bit of an inner knowingness, I would say. So it's really important that we take the time to actually try and ground and connect in with ourselves more deeply. Now, we all have busy lives. You may be rushing around all of the time, going from here to there, and deadlines and grocery shopping and kids and friends and all of these different things. So it's no wonder that we become detached from that part of us. So create space. Start to really tune into that part of yourself. Meditation is brilliant, but even a little walk out in nature, it doesn't have to be anything amazing, but just start to make that conscious effort on a regular basis. Do it small, do it regular, and actually start to connect in with yourself a little bit more. Now, next, we really need to test it out. We need to start testing our intuition and seeing how accurate it is. And one of the brilliant ways that we can do that is, first of all, reflecting on the things from the past. Has there been times that you've really went against your intuition when you shouldn't have? Has there been times when you've trusted it and everything turned out amazingly? Reflect back on those times, but now moving forward, start to think of little things that you're deciding or little things that you're feeling into. See how you're feeling intuitively, even note it down in a journal and start to pay attention to that feeling. We have spent years coming away from it. Intuition and getting in tune with your intuition isn't going to be something that will happen overnight, but if you are consistent and you focus with it, you will see a really big shift. It will be a stark contrast. Okay, so try and be patient with yourself. I always encourage consistency rather than meditating for 2 hours or an hour. Even just meditate for 10-15 minutes and try and fit that in several times a week or even every day. Things like that, okay? So try and go for consistency and you will see a big change. Your intuition is like a muscle. It's just a muscle that we can't actually see. So as you might go to the gym in order to build more muscle up, and when you go consistently, you go regularly, you're adding more weights onto the bar, you're lifting heavier, the intuition is the exact same. So we have to use it. We have to be doing something with it regularly in order to build that muscle and strengthen our own confidence with it as well. I hope that has really helped you. Take that away and start and take positive action on your intuition, and I can guarantee that you will see a big change. In addition to all of my free content, you've got me here. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok. I've also got over 100 episodes of A Happy Psychic. There are 2 main ways in which you can actually work with me. The first one is by joining my group coaching program. I have an online community. There is over, I think, about 50 or 60 on-demand pieces of content in there right now that you can get started with straight away. And then we have a 2-week content cycle. So every 2 weeks we actually work on a particular topic and we work through some of those coaching prompts. So you're free to actually go through those as well. So that is available online, and there is the optional group coaching call that you can join in as well. So you can check that out. And then I also have my more intensive, in-depth coaching programs. The next one that is coming up is Rise and Thrive, and that is all about awakening your confidence and stepping into your power. And it is a 6-week program, a 6-week deep dive really into that. So you can check that out. I'm going to make sure that my links are below in the comments as well. And I would love to work with you more closely, but definitely make use of all of my free content. If you have any content suggestions, click my link tree below as well. There is somewhere where you can suggest something anonymously and comment on how much this has helped you. Comment and let me know where you're struggling. I always keep on top of the comments in here on YouTube, and I would love to get more engaged with you all as well. And of course, if you are enjoying the content and you want to see more of me, please hit like, drop a comment in, and it lets the algorithm know that it's something worth listening to. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well, and then you will be notified whenever any new content comes out.